Hello everyone, I am women's football analyst Jacob Bernstein and welcome to my review of Liverpool 2 Spurs 0. Yeah, it was a very, very disappointing display on the weekend from Spurs Women, handing Liverpool their first WSL win of the season. To talk you through the game, I think it's important to look at firstly Spurs' starting lineup. We started with Lisa Kopp in goal, same back four as the last couple of weeks has been, with Josephine Rybrink at right back, Toka Koga and Claire Hunt pairing at centre back, Amanda Nil at left back, Drew Spence and Evelina Summerlin paired in midfield as we've seen usually. We saw a front three behind Beth England of Maika Hamana on the right, Olivia Holt maybe towards the left, and then Signe Galpset kind of in the 10 role behind Beth England up front. And for Liverpool, they had a couple of their new signings come in. I think they've really strengthened in this January window. Jennifer Falk came in goal. It was her second appearance, I believe, after starting at London City, and it was also her second clean sheet. Alice Bergstrom, who also impressed against London City Lionesses, started for Liverpool on the right, and Chilag came in for her first start for Liverpool as well. And for the match itself, well, I thought Liverpool were absolutely brilliant. I think, although it was a disappointing game from Spurs, I think you have to give Liverpool a lot of credit. I think from the start of the game, Liverpool set out with intent to kind of get at Spurs. Liverpool pressed Spurs really hard at the pitch. And I think where Spurs have thrived this season is by kind of getting Olivia Holt, or players like Olivia Holt, onto the ball from deep. She picks up the ball, either kind of distributes it wide or picks it up and runs with it. And Liverpool just didn't allow Spurs to do that. A lot of occasions Liverpool were pressing really tight to their players, and that meant that Spurs were forced into kind of making passing errors or giving the ball up to Liverpool, and that allowed Liverpool to have loads of chances. In the first half, Liverpool had a couple of chances. Bergstrom had a chance off the bar relatively early on. Chilag had a couple of shots, a header and a shot from an interception from Spurs. But in the second half, it was all Liverpool. Spurs did have one opportunity, one proper opportunity that came very early on in the second half. They broke from the corner, Beth England cleared it. Olivia Holt played a lovely ball to Signe Galpset, who was through on goal, but Jennifer Falk made a really nice save. And from there, it was all Liverpool. There were two shots that Liverpool had towards the end of the game that were almost identical. Kerry Holland down the left wing, who gave Josephine Rybrink a really tough time. Holland cut it back to Cornelia Capox, and two of her shots just kind of went inches wide, and it just felt like the goal was coming. Liverpool hit the woodwork twice very late on. Alice Bergstrom hit the post from close range, and Kerry Holland, with a free kick in added time, I think it was, had a shot off the post from that free kick. And then it all kind of went downhill from there. It almost felt like the goal was coming. It wasn't the best performance from Spurs, and they kind of got to 94th minute and it was 0-0. And if you can kind of see out the 0-0, you go, okay, it wasn't the best performance, we take a point. But then Liverpool got the win at the death. Janet Clark down the right-hand side crossed it in, and Mia Enderby got between two Spurs defenders to score very late on. And from there, it only got worse. Spurs took a kick-off on the 95th minute. The ball went back to Evelina Summerlin. She slipped, and Mia Enderby capitalised on it. She took one touch, Enderby, to get away from Summerlin, and she was through on goal against Lisa Kopp and slotted in, which was really disappointing from a Spurs point of view. 2 goals conceded on the 94th and 95th minute. Look, ultimately, there's not much that Evelina Summerlin could have done about that second goal. It was a slip, and those things happen, and it was unfortunate. But I think as a wider point, it was probably Spurs' most disappointing performance under Martin Ho. A win could have put them right in the mix for Champions League spots, especially with Chelsea losing to Arsenal. And when you're facing the bottom side away, you'd probably expect a result based off of how Spurs have looked. From Liverpool's perspective, it's a huge win. As I said, it's their first WSL win of the season. They are still bottom because West Ham beat Leicester, but now suddenly there's only 2 points between Leicester in 9th and Liverpool in 12th, which makes it really close for that relegation playoff place. And yeah, in terms of stats for the game, I thought Liverpool were very kind of well off for their win. Spurs had the majority of possession, 56% to 44%. In terms of expected goals, Liverpool dominated the Liverpool dominated expected goals 2.03 to 0.73. They had 18 shots to Spurs' 5. Liverpool had 5 shots on target to Spurs' 1. Spurs' only shot on target being that Signic upset chance I mentioned. And yeah, for Spurs, I think it's a bit of a reality check. I watched Martin Ho's press conference after the game, and I really, really enjoyed the way Martin Ho spoke. He was evidently disappointed with the performance, but I think overall he speaks fantastically in all of his press conferences, and I think he's been really good in setting the standards for what Spurs Women will deliver over the course of the season. And I think both as supporters and as the manager, you can see that kind of the standard on Sunday wasn't good enough. And I think Spurs need to pick themselves up and go again on Sunday. There's a big game against West Ham where you can kind of go and kind of make sure that it doesn't become a trend of kind of going on a bad run of form, especially because after that West Ham game, we do play Chelsea. So I think kind of picking ourselves back up and getting a result against West Ham is the best way to kind of get over this loss. I think one thing from Spurs' perspective is definitely working out how the team best fit together. I spoke on my last review video, which you can go and check out after the Leicester FA Cup game. I spoke about kind of different systems that Spurs can set up in, and I think it's just working out what system works best. On Sunday and in the WSL game so far since the winter break, we've seen kind of both Evelina Summan and Drew Spence playing a double pivot, Olivia Holt play on the left, and Signic Upset playing a 10. Martin Ho has spoken about Signic Upset playing as an 8, which perhaps means that one of Evelina Summan and Drew Spence will drop out, and that will allow Olivia Holt to play in the middle as the 10. And then maybe you can also fit Katinka Tandberg and Beth England potentially in the team as well. I think for Martin Ho, it's just working out what the balance is, how he can fit all the players in with 5 new signings coming in, and with players coming back from injury like Katinka Tandberg, like Olga Atanen we saw come off the bench as well, and hopefully Ella Morris to come soon. But yeah, ultimately I think this was a disappointing display from Spurs, probably their most disappointing of the season, especially because our losses before this game had been against City. We lost 5-1, but you've lost to the best team in the league, the team that are top at the moment. A narrow 1-0 loss to Chelsea with a Kira screamer. And also London City Lionesses, where we lost 4-2. It was away, but we competed in the game. So yeah, I think disappointing from Spurs, but if we can pick back up next week against West Ham, then hopefully we can put this behind us. But that is my review of Liverpool Women 2, Tottenham Women 0. I hope you did enjoy. Subscribe to Harry's channel for more Spurs Women content, and follow me on Twitter at JacobBurn14 if you want more WSL or Spurs Women content. Also, please go over and listen to Decoding the WSL. It's a podcast that myself and a couple of other analysts in the WSL do every week. It's available on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. So please listen to that if you are interested. But until then, I will see you next week.